Mehmet Sami, an executive board member at Invest, joins us now live from Istanbul. Good to see you there. What's the economic priority now for the government? Keep on growing?
Definitely. Growth is the #1 target for Turkey, as it has been for the last 20, 30 years. While growing, I think foreign policy initiatives will be very keenly watched. There are new plans that the government, AKP party, has mandated itself prior to the election. Those projects will now be reviewed. I think privatization is going to be on the agenda post-summer, especially in utilities and infrastructure.
Yeah.
So market-friendly policies will continue for some time to come.
Mehmet, what about fiscal policy? Because it seems that the markets are hoping that actually tighter fiscal policy is the #1 thing that this government will address.
Indeed, this has been, we have already received feedbacks on this prior to the, again, elections. We will hear, the cabinet will take about a month or so to be formed. We'll find out who the key personnel are. So that is going to be one of their primary targets. The main aim is to put Turkey onto a sound footing. And of course, a re-rating of Turkey is on the agenda. Turkey desperately needs to get an investment grade, which we're all, I think, united against. And I think this will be probably be achieved in the next year or so.
Now, with the amount of growth that's going on, and Erdogan has promised major new infrastructure projects, are you concerned about overheating, the trade gap? That's a bit of a worry. Inflation, what? OK, 7%, which is pretty high, better than the 30% it was a few years ago. But there is that worry.
Well, some of those projects are actually the financing of which are going to be either BOT or PPP type private-public partnerships. So I think in terms of projects like the third airport, the third bridge, some of these can be funded quite easily. We should not forget that Turkey has recently mandated several very large utility projects with good financing behind them. So I don't think some of those will really be a concern. But there are also populist tendencies within other projects, and I think the feasibility of which should be watched carefully. And I'm sure the government will do its utmost to look at the feasibilities and to find structured solutions to financing some of these projects.
And Mehmet, what about the constitutional changes? Because this was the pillar, really, of Erdogan's campaign promise, and he's now 5 seats short of actually being able to pass that through. He got 325 seats. What he needed was 330.
Yes, indeed. The Constitution is the main issue for us from today onwards. This is a new social contract, and it requires a compromise. How this compromise will come about is closely going to be watched. As you mentioned, it's only 5 votes away. Whether the party can lure 5, 6 people on board to go for a referendum, or whether they will seek a wider consensus-building mechanism, which the Prime Minister has mentioned in his speech last night. If the latter happens, then I think the markets will be much more happy, as they're happy from the election results today.